So to gain context on the first trade on Friday, let's go over the pre-market plan. I post these every single day in the Discord, and the main level that we were watching for was 4465 to 4473, which is this upper pink box. Down below, we also had demand we were watching, but scenario number one was we were watching for continuation. If the breakout above 4465 to 4473 was strong, to play long, targeting the next resistance level above. So now why I like using these order flow tools is if I have a scenario where I want to gauge if buying or selling is strong, then I need to be able to read the orders in relation to the volume at a specific price to gauge if that move up is with strong buying, if it's up with weak buying, are there strong sellers coming into the market? And using a tool such as a depth of market, a heat map, will enable me to read the market auction and understand why price is trading at a certain way and where price is currently trading and how the market participants feel about that order flow. So if you're a short-term scalper, using some type of order flow analysis, in my opinion, is vital, and I cannot trade without it. So going back to Friday's action, the market had a very, very strong rally directly at the open. And I want to show you what it looks like using these order flow tools. So watch as the market moves up. It just opened. You're going to see a bunch of green large bubbles coming into the market. And on the depth of market, you're going to see a lot of positive delta, meaning there is strong buying as the market is moving higher, which is a very, very bullish indication. Now, directly after the morning rally, the market consolidates for about 20-minute period near the high of day, above 4462 and below 4467. And if we were to look at a candlestick chart, you could even see that even better. Morning rally, consolidation right at our key level. And why the depth of market played such a significant role in this case is if we were looking at a volume profile, this long tail of light amount of volume was from that morning rally, and this large amount of volume near the highs is at 4462 to 4467, where all of this consolidation happened. And the cherry on top was at 4465, directly at our key level. We saw a negative delta of minus 2,400 lots. So 5,200 lots hit the bid and only 2,700 lots hit the offer, giving us that negative delta there at that high price. Now in the intraday commentary tab, this is where I update my thoughts in real time as they are developing. We saw this guy at the 65s. We saw him also 2 days ago at the 65s, which was actually the formation of this level. And I personally viewed this as a large buyer because of this example. So what I was watching for was a lot of people will see like a large amount of delta at a specific price. And just because it hits the bid, they think it's automatically a seller. But you got to think from a logical perspective. For every seller, there's a buyer. So even though somebody aggressively hit the bid that much, somebody has to be buying passively on the bid. And that's why context and the reaction after that forms is the most important. And this is why I came up with a plan that in the near short term, if we dip under 4462 to 4460 and it holds and becomes supported, I'm going to look for ways to possibly get long and take the market long on a pullback. The reason why I said this was it was below the consolidation low. I knew a lot of people were shorting this rally higher, not realizing how strong this could potentially be. And if we break under this high volume area and hold the 60s and move back into that high volume area, that was good enough confirmation for me to say, hey, let's put risk onto the market. And showing what happens on a candlestick chart, the market pulls back into these 62s, into the 60s, holds and begins to rally higher. Now, I want you all to watch how we break the consolidation range right into the 62 and 60 level. And I want you all to realize how well this does bounce replaying this data now. We come into this level, we hit the 62s, we're selling off into that zone, and watch what happens. Hit the 60s and automatically fail to move lower, and then automatic reclaim back above inside of this high volume area, inside the consolidation range. And how I personally viewed this was a lot of shorts were getting into the market, and a lot of weak longs were stopping out. When you have all this contextual analysis coming together, it gives me a valid reason to put risk on the table and try the market long. So I said I'm trying some risk here at the 4462s when we came into that level and we bounced. I like how this pullback is holding. And now what I'm simply doing is using my original plan for continuation as a target to price, meaning I'm spotting buyers before that, and let me use my original breakout level as a target 1, and anything above that target 1 is an additional bonus or reward for this setup. So now what I want you all to keep an eye on is we're in long. Watch how the market now rallies up, and watch when we break the high, all the strong buying that came into this level. My only issue with this trade was, see this, all the strong buying here, was as we came into the 4473 mark, and I had the idea to sell 75% of my position there, I hesitated and I waited too long, and I wanted to essentially spot some type of weakness. I said I'm going for the 73 breakout. There's not much resistance above it. That's going to be my target 1. I said, here's the break. I'm looking to sell 75% there on the first sign of weakness. Now, the issue with this was I got to fill much lower because I waited too long for the weakness to step in. And eventually, by the time we pulled back, the market was already 4 points off the high, and I gave back a lot of profits that I had. What I mean by this is I was up about $5,100 when we hit that 73 level. I gave back a lot of profits because I didn't sell my full position at my original target, which also kind of skewed my risk to reward because I only realized the 1.27 where my original plan was 2.73. So even though my entry was excellent on this setup, my exit execution faulted and lacked, and I paid a little of the price for that. Now, the same exact thing happened on Thursday, September 7th, where I made a little over $4,000 profit. I'm not going to complain about the profits, but I will complain about my execution. This trade was up a little over $5,400, and I closed this out for a $4,000 profit where I realized a 1.7 risk to reward, whereas my plan was over a 2.5. And my entry and my analysis was perfect on this, but similar to that trade on Friday, I gave back a lot of gains by trying to hold runners and not selling my full position. So in the intraday commentary tab, what I was watching for, the market sold off before it opened, and guess where we rejected that 4465 level? And on Friday, how we had that level was because of this action over here. So this is now the day before that. This is Thursday. That we sold off and it was looking weak. But then as soon as the market opened, it did not look weak to me anymore. And I was watching if the market can hold 4437 and 4434 on a pullback for bulls. And about 4 minutes into the market open, when it looked like this, I took the market long at 4438. My stop loss below 4434, targeting 4451. So I want you all to see, this is 932, so the second 2-minute candle, which was red. You're going to see a bunch of selling now come into these lows. So you see a negative 436 lot delta. Now you're going to see buying then eventually step in. This is 933. We start moving up above the 40s, and we see a delta here of 1,028 to the positive side. The market eventually pulls back, and right there, we hold this guy right there. Saw how we just ticked down and held them? Doing it again now. This 900 guy's holding. He's adding to his position. And right then and there, I take the market long at 4438, 4 minutes into the market being open. When it looked like this, stop loss below these 35s, 34s, targeting the 51s, which was this high right here prior to that market selling off. And looking what it looks like on a heat map, here you can see all the aggressive selling at the open, the strong buying that held it. Here's that pullback into the 38s. And that was my original analysis and thesis to get long. I'm going to fast forward this, and you're going to see the strong buying come in, similar to Friday's action, directly into my 4451 target right here. And I get out 75% of my position at that 4450 level. And I held runners if we can consistently start rallying even higher for more continuation. And that was my mistake for this setup because I sold perfectly at the highs for my first target. And because I got greedy to hold runners and I expected the market to keep moving up, we eventually didn't. and I had to get out the remainder exactly where I got in at just to protect myself to not make my runners red. I never ever will try to make my runners red. And my mistake on this was good entry, good analysis, good first target, similar to Friday. But I held those runners and those runners didn't pay. So we're not getting the continuation after I enter. And now Tuesday is a perfect example of me following my plan and it working well by selling my full position at my target. This was on Tuesday. It's a short holiday week. We're watching this 4507 level to hold if it could become supported to play the market long. This was in the pre-market plan. Market sells off on it, and I was actually trading live this day, and I took the market long while we broke the low a day and immediately got bought up and started reclaiming higher. I took the market long here. I was up a decent amount here. This eventually sold off, and I stopped out of this trade for a loss for about 3 points. And that was my first trade, which was a negative $1,600 loss. Again, I was up about $3,000 and I turned it into a red trade. But it sucks even more being up $3,000 and turning it into a $1,600 loss. But as long as you manage risk, that's the only thing that matters, because the next trade was a $5,500 profit, and this made back those original losses. I followed my plan. In fact, I got even a little more than my original plan. And this was off the same analysis. I took the market long again off of my demand zone. All right, I'm trying it here at the 8s, but I like how those 5s are holding where that negative 1100 lot delta is. I like how we're putting in these higher lows now. I like how there's not much supply, not much resistance above. The same exact setup I took before is I'm taking again. It's just now I have a point higher of an entry. It's just a lot of factors are aligning at this moment. Stop loss below the low, and I was simply targeting 4519, which was the high a day. As soon as we hit it there, there's a live video of it. I got out my full position at 4519. All right, I'm out of this trade at the 19s. I'm out of this trade at the 19s. I am all out of this trade. I'm not scaling, but I mean, it was very obvious that someone was buying up this move. My first entry, I obviously mistimed it. It worked out and I was able to capitalize on a 7-point rally. But I eventually got out for a 3-point loss, and then I just re-entered, and that win just took away that 3-point loss and put money in my pocket. 100% of it, and that was the smart move, because if I held runners here, it also would not have worked out. And this was the only setup this week where I sold my full position. Figuring out what's working for you the best. In my examples, not holding runners this week worked out for me the best, whereas holding runners did not work out well. And that's so important to review your trades and understand what you do right, what you do wrong with, and combine that with the current market conditions so you can start trading better, making more profits, and protecting your losses as best as possible. So I'm going to end it on that note. I didn't really even plan on making this video, but I wanted to make that a very key point. If you enjoyed it, you learned something from it, drop a like, comment any questions, and definitely check out the links in the description below. But I'm going to end it. Peace.